Good evening and welcome to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. There's a lot of Celtic news going about tonight. Just when you think you're going into the international break, would give you some peace, some quiet, some time of reflection. One person that has had a lot of reflection is Alistair Johnston. Alistair Johnston has taken to social media just a few hours ago to talk about the challenging aspect of football and life, really, in general. The past few months, Alistair Johnston says, have been challenging as any for me personally since my career began. With that being said, I am happy to say that I successfully underwent surgery today to repair my hamstring. Hopefully, this will be the first step in putting this injury behind me for good. Thank you for the support during this time, and I can't wait to be back fully fit later this season for the title push and a home World Cup. 2 hands up. It's one of those injuries that was he rushed back too quick? I mean, we can all talk about the ifs and buts and the whys and the maybes, and you've got to think about what it is personally to the player. And I think as fans, we sometimes forget that. We forget that the players are human beings, and this is their job. And even the ones that we don't like, even the ones that we give stick to, you've got to remember they are just human beings. You wouldn't like it if somebody come into your work and called you all the fucking whatever's under the suns. And any potential employees to say the least. But anyway, it was interesting to see that Celtic were one of the first ones to comment on Alistair Johnston's post. Feel for him. I do feel for the lad. Fantastic player. He's missing out on a big chunk of European football, but like he said, with that being said, he's going to come back bigger, better and stronger. And let's just hope that he doesn't have a fantastic World Cup, because it was at the World Cup that Celtic found the player a good few years ago back. Now, in other Celtic news, we'll go into the Premier Sports Cup first of all, before we talk about a certain person who has left the club. And a lot of us will be saying, thank goodness that he's maybe left the club. But Celtic tonight also, Celtic will compete again for the Premier Sports League Cup at Hampden on Sunday the 14th. If anybody's got spare tickets, I'll have one. Having defeated Falkirk, Partick Thistle and the Rangers on our journey, St Mirren will be the final test for the boys as we look to retain the trophy. Tickets for this fixture will go on sale commencing the 24th of November. After we receive the final confirmation of our ticket allocation, yet St Mirren fans can buy 20 tickets each. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This will help us ensure that families and the clubs are seated together when buying tickets. Usually the first phase of the sale is made available to supporters on the Home Ticket Cup scheme, with so many deciding that the Home Ticket Cup scheme was one of the easiest way to boycott Celtic. It'll be interesting to see the rush for the tickets for this final. I know that we're still going through, and there are a lot of people wanting to do the board, and it'll take care of itself. But I think there will be a massive rush for tickets for this cup final. Just my own personal feeling. Tickets will be available to buy online and only distributed through the Hampden Park app. The Hampden Park app. Further details will be released soon. Celtic FC digital account. Please remember that you need to have an FC digital account. Yeah, mine seems to have fucked up on that. I need to get back onto that and check out what's actually went wrong with it, because it's not transferred over from the old account. Anywho, as they say, how's your day been? Fantastic, because there's a certain chief scout has decided to end his 6-year spell at Celtic Park after agreeing to move to English Championship side Swansea City. Swansea City. Who else just went to Swansea City not so long ago? Who was Celtic's loan manager? But I think a lot of us will be glad that the chief scout's left, because let's face it, we don't think he's been doing his job correctly. Let's be honest. Let's be perfectly honest. Do you think that the chief scout over the last 6 years done a fantastic job? That should be a poll question. There we go. There's the poll question for this evening. Let's do a quick poll question. Has the chief scout done a good job at Celtic? Let me see how many we're getting for this, because there's currently 296 people on. That'll be an interesting one. 100% no, straight off the bat. When you see what we've overpaid for players, when you see what we've paid for players over the years, I think we've paid too much, and I don't think that we've got the standard of players in that we should really have had at Celtic. 70 votes straight off, and it's 90% say no. I'm going to leave that one to run. There's a few different headlines saying that Celtic have been left as a major blow. I don't think it's a major blow. Do you know? He came in from Arsenal in 2019 by former head of football operations Nick Hammond, and he's overseen the scouting reports on transfer targets. He now joins Darren O'Dea down in Swansea. He worked under Neil Lennon, Ange Postecoglou and Brendan Rodgers, with Brendan Rodgers recently criticised the transfer department. I don't think he's had a successful 6 years. I mean, you could say getting in Matt O'Reilly, how much did he have to do with that? Nico Kuhn. When it comes to Kyogo Furiashi and all these players, he had absolutely nothing to do with them. They were Ange Postecoglou signings. Do you know, they weren't picked out by the recruitment team. So you have to look at the players that have came in over the last few years and pick out which ones have been real manager signings and which ones have been down to this one. Adam Ida, we should have got him for 3 million. We ended up paying 9 million. We lost 3 million on him. Do you know, that comes down to the scouting team. It's going to be interesting. Chief Executive Michael Nicholson said, this year, regretfully, we did not achieve all our objectives in the transfer window, if you remember that. Who does that come down to? Does it come down to the chief scout not getting the right targets, giving the right information to the club, or is it coming down to the board? That one could just go on and on and on, couldn't it? Anyway, remember there is a link in the description of the video. With international games coming up, a lot of people like to bet on international football. You can get money off of outplayed.com. They will teach you match betting. What is match betting? It's a way of turning free bookie bets into cash. We do this by placing multiple bets in the same event to make sure that we cover every possible outcome. We use a free bet to lock in the guaranteed profit as long as you do it correctly. That's right, win, lose or draw, you'll make money. People all over the UK have trusted Outplay to learn about match betting. They've already taught over 150,000 people in the UK, and it's the number one UK match betting service. If you click on the link that's in the description of this video, you will get a free trial. You'll get a free trial of this fantastic way to beat the bookies, because everyone likes to beat the bookies, let's face it. The Premier Sports Cup ticket scenario, I think we'll just leave that for this evening, aren't we? Shin Yamada has been named in the B team. It's interesting because Shin Yamada was never in the international setup, was he? He wasn't an international player. I see that when you look at the players that have been have went out on international duty, players that have went out on international duty, and the players that haven't, it's interesting that Shin Yamada is isn't been called up. He was nowhere near it, was he? Absolutely nowhere near it. I'm going to jump onto Celtic and show you the ones that are on international duty. International Celtic put up. Kasper Schmeichel, he'll be looking to get another game under his belt to get closer to his dad's title. Sinisalo, the young keeper at Celtic, who there's been chat of could be demoted to second place and backup goalkeeper next season. Again, I think it would be a travesty for that young lad not to be number one goalkeeper for Celtic next season, but that's a chat for another day. Kieran Tierney's been called up after scoring a goal for Celtic, and he always gets called up for Scotland, so good luck to Kieran, and hopefully he gets a little bit more confidence in this game. The Bricky, Tony Ralston, a forever starter. He just starts. I think he's got dirt on the Scotland manager's personal life because he starts every game, no matter what. Liam Scales starts for, well, he's been picked for Ireland, Scalesy, a big shout out for him. Johnny Kenny called up. Has Adamida been called up, I wonder? And Benji has also been called, I don't know how. God, Sweden must be in a bad way. Tenekte, he's been called up also. Mikalanj Balgwisha, he's been called up. Austin Trusty, called up for the US of A. He'll be looking to get back playing because he missed out on the last international games also. Daiz Maeda, an unused substitute in the last games for Japan. Will he get game time? At least he's in the squad because his little grumpy midfield mate isn't in the squad. Is Dyson tinting his eyebrows? He obviously gets them shaped, I don't know about that, like. How would you feel about guys getting their eyebrows shaped? Let's move on. Colby Donovan's called up to the Scotland under-21s, and that gives you your full selection of Celtic supporters that have been called up on this international break. Still no real noises about any new Celtic manager, and there's obviously lots of people talking about it, but I think we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, because until anyone is actually offered the job, I think that we just leave it until Dermot picks up the phone to someone, because as it stands, I don't think he's actually picked up the phone to anybody yet. Has he? No idea. Let's see what the Canadians are saying about Alistair Johnston, because they'll be looking over the pond, as they say, to make sure that their player, because he is a fantastic player for the Canadians, one of the top papers in Canada says Canadians men the national team right back Alistair Johnston out on social media. He had surgery on Tuesday to repair his hamstring. Past few months have been challenging. I've read all that. Johnston's been struggling with hamstring over the past few months. On the 20th of August, I mean, this is a big chunky season. It makes you wonder why Celtic didn't make him go in for the operation then. They obviously thought they could get away with it. Do you know, it was during the Champions League playoff against Cara Almaty that he was stretchered off on the 23 minutes. 23 minutes into that game. God, it feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? Since making his senior debut in 2021, Alistair Johnston's been capped 56 times. 56 times, and he was also named in one of the FIFA World Cup teams, was he not? 2026 FIFA World Cup, which runs from the 11th of July to July 19th, will be jointly hosted by Canada, United States, Mexico, and 16 cities, including Toronto. I'm going to love everybody flying into Mexico for the World Cup. I mean, I don't usually bother about World Cups, but it's going to be hilarious, people going into Mexico to watch World Cup games and then try fly back into America. Trump's going to be doing his dingering, isn't he? Yeah, I might just watch it for the hilarity. Social media will be a blast. Twitter will be fantastic during the World Cup. God, it'll be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, that's enough about Alistair Johnston for this evening. Should we jump into the comments? Nah, we'll leave it for tonight, won't we? St. Mirren, I'm just going through. This is an interesting one. I love it how some alleged Celtic blogs, they're no longer a Celtic blog because I don't think there's anybody that supports Celtic that remains at the website. But they've managed to change Wilfred Nancy's formation into a completely different formation. And they're saying that Rio Hatate and 3 other Celtic players who wouldn't thrive in Wilfred Nancy's... That's enough of that, because I don't even want to talk about him tonight, caused enough ruckus this morning. Anyway, Celtic, they're also talking about, the same publications talking about Lennon Miller being on the radar of Celtic again. I don't see how Celtic could revive their interest in Miller and try and sign him in January. It would be a loan move. That's not going to happen. What a load of bullshit. What complete bullshit. Why would Celtic go and try and get a player on loan for a player that they didn't even make a bid for because Celtic spoke to him direct and he said, look, I'd rather go to Italy. Some publications just make up complete and utter hogwash when it comes to the Celtic news. Anyway, let's jump into the poll and see what the poll is doing tonight. We've been 170 votes. Has the Chief Scout done a good job at Celtic? 88% say no, and 12% say yes with 170 votes in. Is Lennon Miller having a good season? I have no idea. I don't think that. I mean, I think going for Lennon Miller now would be a backward step for Lennon Miller isn't even getting a game. Well, we'll leave him there then. Just leave him. Why would Celtic go in and try and get him on loan? Who would they replace in the Celtic midfield? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. And if we can get to 200 votes, I'll call the hounds off. I'll shut the poll down. We're at 175 votes. We need 15 votes, and there's more than enough people on because there's 175 votes on. There's been over 920 people on the live so far. There's 358. Let's get that up to 200 with the majority. The majority of the mainstream media are just pure guesswork, Baz says Type. Well, it's Hail Hail 67, mate, and they're owned by mainstream media, as are one or two, publications out there. But big shout out to Stephen Johnston tonight. 178 votes. Come on, you just get it to 180, so I could just. It's not going to change much. John Shirley putting in cryptic messages as normal. What about Andy Robertson? Sure, Andy Robertson. I don't think Andy Robertson's going to come to. Andy Robertson's never going to come to Celtic. And why would Celtic take him? Surely we have to move forward. Surely we have to move forward as a club. Whatever manager that comes in isn't going to turn around and go, do you know what? Poof, Andy Robertson, yeah, let's go for him. Said no one ever. Anyway, right. I'm going to finish that poll off. 4. Will it get to 5? Let's just finish it off at that. That's it for this evening. It is the international break. It's just one of those things, isn't it? International break. We all hate it. When's the first international? I don't even know when the first international games are. That's how much attention I pay to international football. We shouldn't even be discussing Robertson, says Jim McClarty. Nah, we shouldn't, should we? Anyway, I shall see you all in the morning. Hopefully there might be some news on a Celtic manager. I very doubt it. I think that people are having some time off from football. Some of the main players from Celtic that haven't gone away on international duty maybe have given 3 or 4 days off, is what usually happens on this international break. So you might find that Celtic players do not return back to training until Thursday. Martin O'Neill, where is he? And where is Dermot Desmond? On that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, evening, wherever you are, all around the world.